tower to a safe position for me to drive all the way in with my paddle. So that black dot right there, that's sort of a safe fly height. Now I'm going to drive my sample all the way in again to my physical stop. There we go. And now we're going to basically lower the stage inside here. And the most important place to watch is actually over here in this corner. You want to make sure that the edge of the substrate receptacle does not clip and deflect the paddle. You'll see the weight of the substrate holder move the paddle down just a little bit because it's a big heavy moly plate. It might deflect about 1 centimeter or so, but it shouldn't keep moving down as you're descending the tower. If you ever see that, stop what you're doing, you're misaligned, and you're bending the transfer arm. So here we go, watch that back corner, and you should see the paddle kind of disappear up into the substrate receptacle. Here we go. Lowering tower. So you see there it's starting to deflect a little further, and now you can see that the paddle begins to disappear up inside the receptacle. More importantly, if you look over here in this slot, you can see that there's now a gap in that oval cutout where I can see the substrate holder no longer resting on the tangs of the substrate receptacle, but rather resting on the paddle. And when I see that scenario, and I have proper clearance, now it's time for me to back the substrate system back out of the main chamber and into the load lock. Let's see what that looks like close up. So again, right over here, the edge of the paddle has gone up inside here, and it didn't get clipped by this edge of the substrate receptacle, which is again tied to the tower. If this part gets hung on this piece, it's just going to bend the entire arm down. So always watch this corner. And then this little spot in here, this little breakout, you can see in this oval cutout there's a gap now that I can see through, and I see the little pin right there that held this thing in place. You see that sort of appear, and now it's time to draw it back out of the chamber, or back out of the substrate receptacle. As you're doing so, watch this end and watch the other end to make sure there's no obvious gaps or loose attachment of the substrate holder and the paddle. You don't want this thing rocking and rolling or wobbling back and forth, because if you lose it somewhere in the gate valve or lose it here, catastrophic things can happen. So I don't want to see any gaps here or here, and I want to see that I've slid all the way out without scraping or crashing into this piece. So that's the proper unload technique. You would now move all the way back into the load lock. And if you go to vent the load lock now, it will isolate the main chamber by closing this gate valve, and you'll be able to retain your pressure sample.